I don't know who you are, but welcome to the Irish Photography Podcast. Sit back, relax, and listen about cameras, gear, settings, stories, and all things photography. Join Diarmuid and Darren on Ireland's Best Photography Podcast. Let's go.
And you're very welcome to the Irish Photography Podcast. My name is Darren. I'm in charge this evening, and I'm trying to take a bit of control of a delinquent there that for the last year he's been kicking and screaming, trying to get into things and giving out about things. And when he gets into them, then he actually enjoys them. So I'm here with Diarmuid O'Donovan in Limerick. Diarmuid, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how are you, pal? How you keeping?
Good. I don't know which way to look because I'm looking in this camera or I'm looking at you and the screen's just slightly off. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to see how we get on making a video.
So basically saying you love me so much that you wanted me twice. So you're looking at the camera and you're looking over here.
No,
so
I only see me on the camera.
Times.
No, to be fair. And it's the same as you, really. Like, you're recording your end too. Well, you better be recording your end.
Don't worry. I am, buddy. I am.
Did you press record?
I look good, by the way. I look good.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, no. So I wasn't even looking at you there because, I'm like, okay, what are we supposed to do on the video? But yeah, so very welcome to the Irish Photography Podcast. And we're going to talk about a few things actually this evening, I think. We're going to look back at 2019. And so something that I did, Diarmuid, on my recent video, and I think it's a very interesting thing because it made me think, and I want to kind of see what do you think as well at the same time. So from my point of view, Diarmuid, I'll ask you, when you look back on 2019, what have you learned?
Well, first of all, before we get into that, you shouldn't think so much. That's a dangerous thing when you think a lot, so just be careful from now on, Go on.
The average person has 50,000 thoughts per day.
Really?
99% of those are brain chatter for the average person.
What I mean? I was right.
So the average person. No, I think you might be slightly different, like.
Maybe. All right, so what did I learn from 2019? I've learned quite a lot, actually, and if I was to name out nearly everything, we'd be here quite some time. But one kind of thing that I really did learn is to believe myself just a bit more, where I kind of doubted myself from time to time, and now I feel very confident in myself and my abilities as a photographer and now a filmmaker. You gave me the kick up the arse that I needed, and last year's podcast I said with my New Year's resolution that I'm going to become a YouTuber, and that I have, and I've felt great for it. I really have felt great for it, and I've learned so much along the way using that as a platform to build myself up. Now it cost me a lot of money.
Of course.
I am the king of gas.
A lot of gas.
But I feel better in a weird way. I feel happier that I can produce such content, and I can be proud of my content. I remember at the start I was there going, I was quite happy with it, but when I look back now on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm like, Jesus, mother of God, what was I thinking?
I fully agree with you, and I think, from the outset, I had said to you, get out more, record more, you can do it. And I knew that you'd enjoy it, and I knew that you would be reinvigorated as well, because you were kind of waning, you were stuck in a long exposure mode, and then all of a sudden you hated long exposure. I'm sick of that. Sick of looking at those things. You're either all in or you're not. And I said, you know what, if you go all in on this, I think it'll rejuvenate. And I think it has, and I think it's great. And in fairness, man, like, you hit 500 subscribers there before Christmas. What was your original target?
100 was my original target. And it was funny how that happened, because it kind of crept up to that fairly fast. And then all of a sudden I was there going, man, I could get 100 in the first 6 months. I was thinking to myself, and I got the first 100 much faster than that even.
Yes.
But then I had to kind of readjust my goals, and I was like, look, if I got 300 by the end of the year, I'd be fantastic and smash that. And then And then you said to me, you can get 500 by the end of the year. And I said, no way am I going to get 500 by the end of the year. But you know what? I wouldn't have gotten it either, only for I got a great shout out from you in your top 5 videos. So first and foremost, thank you very much for that. That has pushed me over the edge to get to the 500.
No, I don't think so. I think, look, yourself has pushed you over the edge in regards to get to 500 because, okay, I featured you because you deserved it. I also featured you because I don't want you to stop, because I think you're very good at what you're doing. And I think you should really gonna go gung-ho into it. And you know what? You'll enjoy it, as you already have so far. So 500 has nothing got to do with me. 500 has got to do what you've done already. And it's funny you say it, because I actually was talking with my brother over Christmas, and he said to me, geez, have you looked back on the first video that you made? And I said, yeah, actually, I looked back on it last week. I said, absolutely diabolical. But it's amazing when you think of what you've come from to where you are. Do you get me?
Yeah. It's that progression. It's what you learn. It's what you teach yourself, and what you learn from others is I think is even more important, because it brings you and those people together, and you can bounce ideas off each other. And like you said, it's a community. It's not just a channel. It's a community.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like, I was thinking then from my own point of view, like, you know, what I learned in 2019, one of the first things I said was light is really, really important. I always had said in the podcast that it's all about composition, but the more and more I listen to people, and then I see it for myself, and then I start looking out for it in the landscape, it changes completely. It can turn a fantastic composition into an incredible image. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking then as well, you know, from your point of view, right? And I was interested to know, you know, from a photography, what have you learned in the last 12 months that now you say, okay, wow, I wish I knew that at the start of the year?
Oh, I'd struggle to answer that, if I'm being totally honest. But what I have been trying to work on a bit more is my composition. Before I used to, okay, let's bang this thing in the rule of thirds, have the subject matter in top left or top right, and let's see if we can get a leading line. And now, rather than looking for the grand vista, which it's kind of my key shot, it's my cliche, it's what I kind of go for ever since I started photography. Now I'm trying to find these more intimate details in photographs. So if I can keep pushing that side of things, maybe I can push or evolve my photography from that side of things, you know?
Okay, absolutely. No, I wasn't even paying attention to you there, because I just realised that you got the lights turned on.
Oh my God. And there's you telling me to make sure we have pressed record.
I know. All the best laid plans. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I'll put it in layman's terms here. I worked in my bloody composition, man.
And it's been very good. And you have some brilliant images. And I'm, like I said before, I'm extremely jealous that you guys went to Lofoten. I'm delighted for everything that you got, and delighted for the conditions that you got. But now I'm even more delighted that you decided to record video.
Yeah.
Even recording the video, when I watched it with you, even audio, you're telling a story, you're making people feel as if they were there. And I think that's really, really good. You know, so you think about your composition, yeah, okay, but you're also composing a story and you're composing a video. And I think that has been really, really interesting from my observation of your improvements over the last 12 months.
Yeah, thanks a million. I really do appreciate it. And you can actually see that transformation from, you know, the early episodes up till now. And I think you do it subconsciously. I don't even realise I'm doing it now. I guess I am doing it, you know. I do know I want to build a story, but sometimes I kind of get a bit confused as I'm doing it. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy, you know. Sometimes you kind of get lost in the moment and you feel like, oh, this is going to be a lot of crap, but then it's not. You just keep working, you keep plugging away, and you can make something special out of it, you know. And whether you do or not, as long as you're trying, that's the main thing in my head, you know.
I'd fully agree with you, and I think that's the important thing, is to try.
Yeah.
And I also think as well, though, something else that I've learned, right, and I think you've kind of alluded to there a second ago, is that me gave you the kick in the backside to say, go do this. Did I teach you anything? Did you teach me anything? Absolutely. The people that I've met and photographed with, did they teach me something? Absolutely. And you get a lot of photographers that are out there that they're lone wolves, you know. I mean, it's typically a solitary sport. But I've said it before, and this year 100% for me was collaborate, meet with people. Every single time you meet up with somebody, you will learn something. You might make a friend, you might make somebody you don't like, but guess what? You met up with somebody and you had an experience and a shared passion from a landscape photography point of view. Anyway, is what I can speak of. But I'm sure there are actually, there's street meetups and portrait meetups and stuff like that, because you will learn from people who you're exposing yourself to rather than not exposing yourself to it in the first place.
Yeah, so think of it this way, and a basketball player, I can't remember who said it, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Okay, I like it.
If you don't take that chance, you're not going to score, So put yourself out there.
And, the people that we've met, you and I, when we went to England, and the people that you've met, I mean, look, Gavin Sheehan is a perfect example. He influenced you to go and get the next shiny thing. No, okay, well done, Gavin, right? It wasn't that hard to twist the King of Shiny's arm, What's that? It moves? Huh? Is it coming orange? Bang. But that's the reality in regards to from ease of use it is to take to get you onto something new and shiny. But he influenced you then to be able to say, okay, hang on, I want to get one of those. And look what it's done.
It's transformed me as a photographer and a filmmaker, absolutely 100%. And it sparked something new, something interesting in me to learn. And boy, is it a learning curve, because you'll make some amount of mistakes. And I'm glad I made them all before I went to Norway. And I still made some more over Norway, just not as bad as I would have if I didn't iron them all out before I left.
Yeah, and I think, the important thing when you go to Norway, you're with people. They're learning from you. You're learning from them. Yep. And you can have people like, okay, you and I, we don't go as often as I would think we and like what to do is go take photos in the landscape, right? Because we're both busy. But you can see perfect examples of Fergus Cooper and Darren Lane, two guys from Cork area, Waterford. I don't know if Fergus from Waterford, I'm not quite sure. I think he's from Cork as well. But you'll always see the two of them out taking photos together, and you can see the advancement and the influence from both of them. And it's good, because if you've got, you're 9 out of 10 and I'm 8 out of 10, okay, the highest I can get to on my own is 8 out of 10. So maybe I get something more from meeting up with you and going to the 9 or the 8.8 or the 8.7. Do you get me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think the biggest thing for me was to collaborate with people. Yes, okay, you can learn how to take the photo, but I think from a people point of view, people don't even talk anymore. Think about in reality now how we live through a social life.
I hate you. You hate me. Keyboard warriors. La la la.
Exactly. And everybody can be, bang, bang, bang. I said my piece. Hang on, talk to people. And that's where I think, from my point of view, and I think from your own thing as well, you've alluded to it from what you've learned this year. It's an amazing thing to be able to look back and say, okay, I wish I knew that started here, but now I know. What am I going to do with it in 2020?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with your learning in 2020?
It's funny you say that, because one of the things I learned in the past year was the DJI Mavic Air, which was my best buy of 2019, or was it 2018? 2018. I felt it kind of held me back in 2019, even though it was a fantastic tool. I kind of outgrew it very fast. It has certain restrictions that I needed to get past. It uses a Wi-Fi signal for its range, and I needed something more reliable. So a DJI Mavic Pro or an Pro 2 or an Inspire, they use a thing called OcuSync, which is far superior than using a Wi-Fi signal. So now, let the cat out of the bag, I got something shiny today. I got the Mavic Pro 2.
True story.
Yeah, but I said it last week I was going to get it, so yeah, I got it. I got a don't say reason number blah blah blah. I got a freaking good deal, and you know it.
Good.
So,
and you're bringing that as well to when we go to the Diarmuid. So maybe I'll get a rub off the bit of the shiny, I suppose, and want to get one of those as well. I don't know. Actually, it's interesting because we talk about getting that. And how many days ago did we record when you said you were thinking of getting it?
I don't no, let's move on. So the reason, so what I've planned for 2020 with that thing was to kind of push my filmmaking even that much further, and then if I can integrate the hyperlapses with my Rhino slider time lapses to make these kind of really epic, unbelievable videos, then that's going to be a bonus for me and everyone in my team or whoever's around me. You know, we can all bounce off each other. You can use it, Burner can use it, or whoever, like, you know, so we're all going to have this bit of fun, you know.
Well, interesting you say about using it. I mean, yeah, thanks very much for letting me use the footage that you took of me when I was looking back at my video. I meant to say to you, because without, again, you there to record me, I wouldn't have that footage, and vice versa, you know. And I think that's something, I think, you know, going forward, I can't wait to see what we do in 2020, to be honest with you. And I think now that I know a lot more, and I also learned, like, even through the podcast, like the big names that you get onto the podcast, they're exactly the same as you or I. And the laughs, the jokes, the banters, the learnings from them, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Come here, tell me. So, like, we've talked a lot about me for the last 15 minutes. Jesus, sorry. What? You know, I know everyone tunes in, it's just for me, like, you know, but still, let's bring you into the fold, Darren. So what did you learn the biggest thing in 2019?
Well, I've already alluded to it. I said it was light is very important in regards to
but was that the biggest thing you learned? Like, is there something else? Like,
well, I had 4 things that I learned.
Okay, shout them out.
I couldn't force myself to go to the 5th. Just to be cliche. 5. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I had already done 5 2 weeks beforehand, which is the one that you were in as well. So I said, you know what, no, I can't.
And I was number 1, by the way, just to let everyone know I was the number 1. But go on anyway, yeah. Go on. Sorry,
in no consecutive order, like. Do you know what I mean?
What are the 4 things, Darren?
Did you not watch my video?
Which one? I thought it was the top 5 of the photographers, no?
No, the last one, what I learned.
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. Go on, talk us through them. I don't know, I can't remember. I did watch it, though. I'm not lying. I did watch it. Because you send them on to me like about a week prior, so I do watch them and I give you feedback.
Again, why do I do that?
To get feedback and to learn and see what you're doing wrong. If you are doing anything wrong, and you know, so.
And that's the whole thing about collaboration. Look, I won't even go into the other ones there, okay? So if you want to see that, go watch that video on YouTube. I'll put a link into the show notes. And, you know, we've spent enough time now talking about you and me in regards to what we've learned. So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey-o.
Are you tired of running out of power at that crucial moment? Do you need to charge 2 batteries simultaneously or charge on the go while in your car? The award-winning ProCube 2 from Hainel has got you covered. Available for Canon, Nikon, Sony and Panasonic. Visit hainel.ie. And you're very welcome back to the second part of the Irish Photography Podcast. And this time we're going to talk about, still thinking in 2019, but thinking more so about what are we going to leave behind. So what bad habits are you going to leave behind, or what bad habits are you not going to do and carry over onto 2020? So I know you said it was all about you in the first episode, but I kind of can't give you mine and then you give me yours unless we go together.
Okay. So
what do you reckon?
What you trying to do? Write it down?
Write it down.
Right,
okay.
Get a blank piece of paper.
I don't have a pen.
Jesus, mother of God, text it or something.
All right, okay, hang on. I'll put it into my phone.
Right. I have 2 things that I want to give up for Lent.
It's going to be a long Lent.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm writing down the first thing first.
Okay, I have my one. How do I make this bigger so I can show?
All right, I'm ready. First one. Are you ready?
I am ready, I think.
1, 2, 3.
Get it done right first.
So I'm going to show the Canon camera.
What you say?
Don't half-ass things anymore.
It's actually the same.
What did you say?
Get it done right first.
Oh yeah, I suppose they are the same thing, really, aren't they? Yeah.
Wow. Why do you think that? Why is it don't do half-ass things?
Because I cut corners when I first started.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, but for not the right reasons, you see. There were the wrong reasons why I cut the corners, because I was too lazy. I was like, it's grand, I can fix it later, or I just don't want to, but now I'm like, if I don't do this, the overall result is going to be affected, and that's the mentality I have at the moment. So I kind of started to clean it up towards the end of 2019.
Okay.
But now I think going forward, that if I just put in that extra little 10% extra, I think it will show up, and I think it will prove the results, or the results will be proven at the end product.
I think so. You're right, because everybody does cut corners. Everybody tries to get the quickest way to get something done. Nobody really likes to spend longer time than they need to. So if they find a better way, you'll go and gravitate to that better way. But it's when you have to start fixing it afterwards, and you've got all these problems that you should have got right in the first place, and you're like, oh my God, man, why didn't I just get it right first? Yeah. And that's me, and it's my frustration. And I mean, like, from a video point of view, even photos, you go, it's okay, I might be able to get that back later. It ain't okay. No. You get it right in camera first, because you've got everything more to play with when you're editing, bring it back into Lightroom or Photoshop. But then when you're into the video, you get that done right. I mean, even you see there some of the examples of the 4K footage that you have from Lofoten. And I said to you, is that done with the Osmo Pocket? Yeah. Wow. And that's done right. And then when you're bringing it back, you have very little to do.
Now, truth be told, that is it with the Osmo Pocket, but that's with a ridiculously flat profile. And it's graded then as well. So you're not going to get that out of the box with the Osmo Pocket. You might get close to it, but you're not going to get those fine details. It's not going to be as sharp as you'd hoped, and you're not going to have that color depth. So that's that extra mile I'm talking about.
Yeah, I agree with you fully, because if it's like a photograph. You take a photograph and you're after blowing your highlights. Forget about it, it's in the bin. But when you were younger, I was about to say. When you were growing up there in the photography, you went, that's fine, that's okay. But now you know that you can't win back a lost highlight. You can play with the shadows, but a highlight is your goosed. Then bring in video, and you got to get the video right. And you're lucky if you get the video right, if it's exposed right, or you've got your focus right, because focus is a nightmare when it wants to be. Yeah.
That's why, like, having the Canon ESRs, and I said in last week's podcast, has just been a blessing to me, because it's got the dual pixel AF, and the focus system on those cameras is impeccable. I mean, I cannot be out of focus at times. It works for me every time, and I felt that was one of my biggest downfalls when I was trying to do a bit of filmmaking with the Sony A7R II. I felt it left me down just that bit too much, and I'd be out of focus half the time, and I wouldn't be happy. Now, the overall result wasn't bad, but it's just 10 times better with the Canon.
And I use the G7X Mark II, as you know, and it has the dual pixel autofocus. It doesn't have the eye autofocus, but it still never misses me either. And that is something that I'm really delighted, I suppose, that I've had, because if you remember, like I said on the last year's recap, I hated the DJI Osmo Plus because it could never get focus. So I said, okay, I want to fix that. But even now, I'm kind of thinking, okay, I do not want to make the same mistakes that I've made in 2020. And one that keeps popping up for me, and it still even does it for me on the podcast, it's audio.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I've tried so hard, man. And yet you go, man, I got it. It's bang on. And you've got exactly the same settings, or so you think.
Yes.
And then you take the next thing, and all of a sudden you're peeking through the roof, or you're down low and there's nothing there.
It's a very hard game to play, and that's exactly what it is. It's about to curse there. It's a bloody game, and if you don't, and like I cut corners, especially in the podcast, because my time is so valuable, and your time is so valuable, that we should do more tests before we even start, and that's where I think we should try to fixed before we even start, rather than just jumping on, because sometimes like you might put the kids to bed, I might get in the door from work or whatever, and we jump on and we literally just go hell for belter, you know. And
yes.
I think maybe if we just take that extra 10 minutes, just sit down, relax, clear our heads, clear our thoughts, get a bit more of a structure, and test our audio equipment before we even start, I think it might help us in the long run. Because even thinking back to last week's podcast, I was so annoyed with myself, because when I edited the podcast, like you and I were fine. You were a bit more bassy than I felt you could have been, but Bernard sounded fine as well. He sounded fine when I was editing. When I have speakers up here, left and right, and I have subwoofer up there. But like in my office, it sounded great. But then like I exported it and I uploaded to the hosting site, and then I was listening to the car a day and a half later, and Bernard is way louder than the two of us, and I found myself turning up and down the radio simply because of my flaw, my mistake. And you know, and I have to learn from that mistake, and I have to make sure that I have to listen to it in all different kind of formats. So I have to listen to it on a home cinema system or whatever, I have to listen to headphones, I have to listen to it in a car, and if something is wrong, I need to be able to adjust it before I send it out to the world. But yeah, look, they're the mistakes we need to make, and they're where we can learn.
I agree with you, and I think it's easier said than done, though. Because we have done all the checks. Yeah, audio check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got peaking. Oh, okay, I'm down. Okay, levels are right. Yeah, let's go. And even, we better hope that the audio is right here today. You know, I mean, what happens if my audio is off?
We forgot about the lighting at the start, but like, you know.
Exactly, yeah. Well, at least I put the lighting on anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be funny now if the audio was a pure balls of a thing, like, but I don't think it will be, because I checked before it came on my sound levels and everything with it. Oh, sugar, that was with the this thing that I bought last week. Watch this thing, man. It's like a big microphone ball. God. So you stick this over the microphone and you can't even see your face. Sorry, you can't even see your face. It's called
okay, but I can't see yours either, so it's actually an improvement.
Thank you very much. Very kind, sir. This is why we're good friends.
Put it on there.
But it's actually a very good tool. It actually works very, very well. So I'm hoping I didn't test it without that sugar. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yes, maybe we do have to insert a disclaimer here, you know. So if the audio is messed up on today's podcast, we apologise.
No, but
we'll try and make it work.
I've turned my gain down far lower than I need to, because I've been watching YouTube videos all week about audio, just trying to make myself better, because I've been so annoyed, especially because last week's podcast as well, when I talk, there's a hiss, so it's white noise, and I'm just learning things. Like, we're not professionals, Darren. You know, I'm a professional wedding photographer.
By no shape or form, but we should be able to get good sound on a podcast.
Yeah, I'm a professional wedding photographer, and that's it. Landscape photography is a hobby for me. Underwater photography is a hobby to me. This podcast is a hobby for us, and it's fun, and that's the way I want it to remain. So I'm not going to try put too much pressure on myself, but yet I still want to get it right, you know.
Look, you know, we both have the microphones, let's just say. You know, we both like to talk. Well, you sometimes need to talk more than me, especially at the start of this episode.
Yeah, true story.
True story. Hey, that's my hashtag. Go out of that. Hey up. But I think, you know, we could be able to hopefully fix that and leave that one behind collectively in the podcast for 2020, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Bye-bye, bad audio.
Well, I think, look, you know, if you think about it, especially in a podcast, there is nothing other than the audio that you're listening to. Mm-hmm. Okay, granted, no, we're playing here trying to record video and see what that would look like. But, you know, a podcast is typically audio. It ain't a show that's broadcast. And for somebody to be able to stay with you in the story and what you're saying, and as you say, I mean, how often are people going to say, okay, I'm going to turn it up, I'm going to turn it down, turn it up, turn it down. And all of a sudden, then you get the advert, and the advert might be too low or the advert might be too high. This is the reality of making a podcast, exactly as you said. You know, hopefully the content is what keeps people engaged, not the mistakes that we've made, because we're only making them on purpose.
Darren, so wait, hold on a second. Some of your audio mistakes this year were downright just borderline funny. I mean, like when you stuck
brutal.
the input into your headphone jack. That one sent me over the edge.
True story.
I bent over laughing. They were like, my audio should be, I remember talking to my own, audio should be bang on now, did everything right, X, Y, Z. And then you tell me you stuck the cable in the wrong hole. Oh, darn.
Yes.
I actually nearly crashed the car when you told me laughing. Oh my God. That was brilliant.
I nearly cut the camera and threw it into the bin after it happened. Because even as I was going down, I spoke about it because I'd reached the 1,000 subscribers, something like that. So I was making a video and saying, yeah, audio. I struggle with audio, but now I got this thing. And yeah, this makes it all work perfectly fine. And little did I know that the headphone jack had nothing in it. It was into the line in had nothing into it. The headphone had it where it plugged in. So I got audio, but didn't get it. But I did get my first opportunity to try and do some voiceover, which I quickly stopped and said I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, the dubbing, wasn't it? Dubbing, yeah.
Dubbing, that was it. Yeah,
you
dubbing,
sent me on the video. I nearly, you gave me so many laughs this year. Thank you so much for them. I really do appreciate it.
Well, you know what? Like, you may have to make mistakes. We're all human, but you have to learn from them. We said it before in the past on another episode. It's good to mess up.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you can only improve. So, from a bad habit point of view, we can either turn around to ourselves and say, yeah, I'm going to fix that, or I'm going to make it better. I might still have the odd mistake, but I'm not doing it as often as I would do. Otherwise, you're going to beat yourself and go, you know what, I'm sick of this now, I can't get the audio right. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%. Yeah.
So, I just wonder, I suppose, Diarmuid, from our listeners' point of view, what are your bad habits? What have you learned this year, and what do you want to leave behind or bring forward into 2020 with your photography or videography, or is there somebody called an audiography?
Don't think so. That's a stretch.
I don't think so either. An audiologist, is it?
We'll say audiologist. No, it's funny to say because that is on my list as well. Still not 100% happy with my audio, and that it's a habit that I want to kick in 2020. And just to make it that much better. Like they're my two habits that I want to work on. And you can't have too many bad habits that you want to kick because you can't get rid of them all. It's like trying to give up cigarettes. You can't go cold turkey or give up drink. I don't know, they're bad analogies. But you get what I'm saying. It's hard to get rid of everything all at once. So if you give up little by little and kind of improve yourself over the course of time in a progression kind of way, then I think it's more achievable. So what I want to, like I said, this year I don't want to half-ass things anymore, and I want to get rid of my bad audio habits that I have, and I want to just kind of push those two things, and once I get those two things right and I'm happy with them, then I can think about getting other bad habits and then kind of kicking them also. So yeah, just those two for now, man.
Okay, good. Actually, very similar to me as well, so we'll see how we get on with them. And I suppose, if you want to let us know in the Facebook group what your bad habits, that you want to leave behind, or what you have learned in 2019, please do feel free to join the Facebook group where you can talk with, others that are in the Facebook group as well, learn from each other, but obviously let us know, what are the bad habits that you want to leave behind. So, Diarmuid, thanks very much for that part. We're going to take a quick break and be right back after word from our sponsors.
Today's episode is sponsored by BG Landscape Tours. Bernard leads photo tours and workshops north as far as Lofoten Islands, Senja, Faroe Islands, Iceland to Scotland, and as far south to the Italian Dolomites, Tenerife, Namibia and Botswana, and not forgetting our own beautiful homeland of Ireland. Find out more at www.bglandscapetours.ie.
And you're very welcome back to the final part of the Irish Photography Podcast. And it's something that we want to talk about, really. We've been leading up to it a lot during the year. We spoke about it the last couple of episodes, but now we alluded to it last week when Bernard was on, that it was Bernard, Diarmuid and myself are judges on the inaugural Irish Photography Podcast Photographer of the Year 2019. And we said we're going to have a special guest, so it's going to give you an update in regards to that, and also just, a reminder again of how people can enter. Oh, they've already entered, won't they?
They'll be done by the time, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So you've all entered already.
Yeah.
So you've all entered already, yeah. So thanks very much to everybody that's entered. And, we had said last week that we would announce who we have a special guest judge. And I'm delighted to let everybody know that our special guest judge is Michael O'Sullivan. And Michael is a previous guest on the podcast, and he's a phenomenal photographer. And he does bring a different level, I suppose, really, from a visionary point of view, seeing the images that have been submitted as opposed to the three of us being mainly landscape. Okay, Diarmuid, you got your wedding, but Michael is a great all-rounder. So what do you think, Diarmuid? Michael O'Sullivan is our special guest judge.
It's an absolute honour, simply because he's the IPF president in previous years, and he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's a Canon dude. So how awesome is that? Outnumber Sony 3-1. Eat that, Sony. Yeah.
He's Canon.
Yeah, he's Canon true and true. I think he's even sponsored by Canon. Yeah. Is he a Canon ambassador? I'm almost certain of it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out, yeah. So that's the update in regards to the IPP. So we're going to be in the judging phase now when you're listening to this. And we will put an update on the Facebook page as to how we're getting on with that, what sort of time frame we're going to be on. When we're recording this now, entries are coming in quick, so I imagine by the time it's done, we'll have got a lot of them to go through. But it's been exciting looking at it so far, and I'm really looking forward to judging the fantastic caliber of images that we have out there. And now we've got the previous, as you say, IPF president to help us to be able to judge them.
Yeah.
Might learn something.
Exactly. Pick his brain, man, not his nose.
Oh my God. So, Diarmuid, that's the end of the show. I'm delighted we ended on that lovely note.
Yes,
Yeah.
we haven't ended. No, we haven't ended yet, buddy. We have our VSP.
What do you mean VSP?
Do you remember that thing
We already
used
did a VSP.
Remember
One a
we
month.
did? Come here.
King of Gas.
I got loads of
King
new
of
toys,
Gas.
man. We got a
King of
VSP dish.
King of Gas, King of Gas, King of Gas, gas.
This week, VSP is called the Rode Wireless Go, and it is absolutely unreal, and it's helped me.
Did you get that too?
Did you get it? Did you get one?
No.
All right, okay.
But you got that as well?
I got that as well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got that ages ago. I got that
Wow.
when I got back from Norway, I got it. It's very good.
All right,
very
okay.
good too.
So that's all right. So that's allowed because it seems like an interesting product, and I was wondering how good it was going to be. So I'm all ears now. Over to you again now to tell me why this is such a fantastic. It's all about you tonight, man. Tell me why this is such a fantastic VSP. Sell it to me, Diarmuid, because I want one.
Yeah. So look, like the Rode Wireless Go is the world's smallest and most versatile wireless microphone system. Transmitter acts as both a clip-on mic or a belt pack for the Rode Lavalier, sending crystal clear broadcast grade audio via 2.4 gigahertz digital to the on-camera receiver. So you could be talking with your camera, and you could be 20 feet back, you could be 30 feet back, you could be 50 feet back, and the crystal clear audio is still coming through. So there is two versions of this. There's a version 1 which the fluffy dead cat mouse thing on the top would have a tendency to fall off. So Rode have alleviated that with a version 2. So So I have the version 2. I made sure of it. But they are unbelievable. They're fantastic because it gives you a new lease of life. Your audio is going to be bang on all the time. So if you've got a shotgun mic sitting top of your camera, you have to be a certain distance away, and you could be chopping and changing and everything. Whereas this thing is strapped onto you at all times. You don't have to be moving. You don't have to be going close to the microphone.
Yes.
Or, it's there. And those levels are going to be there all the time. So it's a great tool to have. And it's not that expensive. So, yeah, I think it's worth the money big time.
Well, it'd be interesting for me to have that, because that's one of the problems I've had with this is I'll get so excited and I go, what do you mean about that? And all of a sudden the voice has gone through the roof, and I can even see the peaking levels that will come through in it too. So maybe we should use that for the podcast. Is it that good?
It's actually very, very good. Honestly, I can't fault it. The only thing that you would say would be a fault, and it's not even a fault, if you turn your back or something gets in the way, then there's no line of sight, then you can't hear it. But like when you're going to be hiding behind a tree talking to your camera, or when you're going to have your back turned and talking to the camera. Talking to the camera.
Rare.
You know?
Like you just did there. Rare. But yeah, I mean, I was interested in it now, but you say there's a version 2.
Yeah.
I could be more interested. So how much are they?
So I think, as far as I know, I think it was €190. Yeah, it's 190
Okay, and how does it work? So you get one that goes under your lapel.
Yeah, so you get one on the lapel, so it just clips in here, just onto your shirt pocket or whatever you want, and there's a little fluffy kind of dead cat, and you just talk into that, leave it there, and then there's another one then, it sits into the hot shoe of the camera, and then there's a cable then that goes from that into your mic input on the camera, and bang. Bob's your uncle, man. It's that easy.
So then there's no more adding in the audio afterwards like you have to do currently by using the Zoom.
Everything's synced up.
Such a pity my G7X Mark II doesn't have an audio input jack.
Yeah.
Such a pity.
So you need to get gassy and buy the Mark III.
Yeah, I'm waiting actually for a go. The G7X Mark III guys in Canon are waiting for it to come over so I can get it. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
might get one of those. €190.
yeah, it's worth the money.
What'll I sell?
It's not yourself.
No, I want to make money, man.
I suppose, yeah. Jesus Christ, that's a horrible thought. Anyway, yeah. So out of 10, I'm going to give this a good solid 8. You know, I'm happy.
Why does it lose 2 points?
Just the fear of it just clipping off and without you even knowing. That's one mark where I just dock it for, and at times that the audio, if you don't have it set up right, you have to do your test beforehand. There's no jumping in, and you have to make sure on the back of the camera, do not have it in auto, have it set up. There's a bit of a falafel kind of getting to your, once you have it set, you're golden. But yeah, there's a bit of a rigmarole kind of getting to that kind of, but yeah, once you get there, you're sorted, man. Happy days. Happy out.
All right. Okay, I don't know what, I don't mind, bringing that one in because, it is a nice product. I think it's actually people that are using it are swearing by it. So we'll see. It's still one to alleviate my stupidity.
It will help.
But look, if it's another steps, now I got to go to the back of the camera and do finagling around with audio, and I got that wrong, and then I jump in and I go, yeah, I had Zoom H1 here, bang, it would always record. Yeah. And I'm like, because my back is sideways or whatever, 2 degrees.
Yeah.
What's the range of it?
Okay, so it's got a 7-hour battery life. Battery, that sounds like Yorkshire. Battery life from a full charge. Digital Series 3, 2.4 gigahertz. Transmitter, receiver. It doesn't say it there. Sorry, I can't let you know that one. But it works quite far. Is that good enough for me? It's good enough for you.
Dougal, this is near and this is far. This is near, this is far.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, look, if you want to figure out, we'll put the link into the Facebook group anyway, we can see how far it can go. But yeah, I think, look, it's an interesting product, and thanks very much for slipping back in the VSP. So, are we finished? Are we done now?
Yeah, I've had fun tonight, man, I have to say.
It was definitely strange trying to figure out using the camera. I didn't know where I was looking half the time. It might actually make it a lot easier to edit the podcast too, because you can leave in all the M's and A's now because you got them on the video.
It's going to be great.
All right. Listen, I really hope that our listeners enjoyed listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, I really hope you enjoyed looking at the two of us just have a chat to awkwardly looking different angles on the screen. But I mean, we might get the better of it. We'll see how it gets on, yeah. I know, one final thing. It is actually now 2020 that this has gone live, yeah?
Correct.
Happy New Year, kid.
Happy New Year, kid!
Happy New Year, kid!
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who's listened in 2019. Thanks for all the laughs. Thanks for all our guests. Thanks to everybody that we've had met out in the field. Thanks to the IPF inviting us where we've gone to the different events with them. Yeah, I mean, look, our guests, I think, have been phenomenal. And like I said, I can't wait. Can't wait for 2020 and who we're going to be chatting with in 2020. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Likewise, buddy. Thanks a million. Great episode. Let's get out of here.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. And Shlán go full.
Ayo.
Hey, guys. If you dig what you're hearing, why don't you jump over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. give us a 5-star rating, and don't forget to share with your friends. With all that done, we'll see you next week, and remember, keep shooting.